Hello, hello. This is the Pat Shan podcast, a very sporadic podcast. We have here Mr. Travis Gibb of Orange Cone Studios. I'm happy to have you, man.
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm often told that I resemble someone who you resemble so much more.
Okay, who's that?
Seth Rogen, dude.
Is that because we're both fat?
It could be. I mean, dude, Seth Rogen isn't even fat anymore. To me,
True.
Seth Rogen has been what I would call, he's a thick boy, but
Sure.
I look at him now and I kind of wish he was fatter,
Well, I'm not a pothead. Are you? Are you a pothead?
No, I used to smoke more, but now, you know, my wife smokes a lot
Sure.
and I just can't keep up. If I were to smoke one bowl, I'd be done for the day. Whereas she's probably ripping like seven right now. She does it just for life.
Yeah, it's we've talked about it a little bit. My parents come from drug and alcohol. There's just this weird thing in my head that for some reason, if I have one joint, I am going to be snorting coke off of a horse racing dog.
Yeah.
A horse racing dog, a dog racing like a greyhound in the afternoon. From that, like.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been in any recovery programs, but I've heard from, podcasts and friends that they treat like weed the same as every other drug, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with like the statistics. Hey, it's not addictive. It's not addictive. But I also know I'm an addictive personality. So just because you say it's not addictive doesn't mean I won't get addicted to it. Right.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part of not addictive, because
Right.
if the substance doesn't have addictive elements, it doesn't mean that a person can't kind of glop onto it,
Right.
Like I have an addiction to Italian food, to coffee. My kidney fucking hurts right now, dude. And if I were to do those things less, my life would probably be a bit healthier, better. And that's addiction too, I think.
I know. I got to get coffee every day. I have to go to Dunkin' and get a coffee every day.
Yeah. On that tip of recovery addiction, Granite State Punk is the first book of yours that I read, and I liked it a lot. And
Thanks.
it's really entrenched in, in the ethos of recovery and the struggle. That's like I would call that the core of the character elements, and then you of course have the horror elements.
Sure.
You have super sick monster, the conglomeration of skulls. It's this hulking
Golem,
creature.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, so sick. And what an artist too to have for that book.
Yeah.
Really does well with character moments, and the way that he leans into horror is beautifully done, because it's dark and shadowy and scratchy. It's almost like you don't really reveal the monsters in super depth clarity. It's like you're glancing back at it and you're running from it. It's really cool. But what I wanted to ask you about, now that you bring up that personal connection to recovery, is that from the elements of recovery? Does that come from a personal inspiration? Does that come from the stories of family? Where does that take root for you?
Yeah. So my parents were heavy drug and alcohol users through life. So heavy cocaine, heavy the Percocets, heavy whatever drug you can get. I mean, my dad died of an overdose. My mom, however, went into recovery when I was like 12 years old. And one of the things, and so that's what it's based off of. And I didn't drink till I was like 23, I think is when I started drinking. But I'm not in any programs or anything, but I know a lot about them. I visit them with my mom. And one of the things that people don't talk about when you get to recovery is, all right, so you get to this point, your mom wants to become clean, right?
Yeah.
So she is going to stop drinking. Everything's going to be great, right? All these things that you think, because you wanted this your whole life. And then you lose your fucking mom to these programs, right? She's every night of the week. She's got to get better. She's got to go to these programs, right?
Oh,
And
she's
then,
there with you, yeah.
right. And then she's getting more confidence. She's going back to school. So now I'm not seeing my mom because she's going back to school. She's not at school. She's at a program. Like you lose your mom just to a different thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
it's a weird twisted thing that you don't think about. And yes, as an adult, I can look down on it. Yeah, it's way better. I'm glad she got clean. But
Right.
in it, at 12 years old, I just wanted my mom, and she wasn't there.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. That's because there's so many times that I'll hear people who are in recovery talk about how there's no real replacement for it. That even talking to loved ones, going to church, going to therapy, that there's something specific about recovery programs that they need. Yeah, and it's just that's I never thought about the people kind of left behind by that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So that's so when I write about recovery, uh, that's kind of why you see the disdain for recovery with this character. Who's
Yeah.
he talks about recovery, he gets it, and then he gets a beer. Like in the opening segment, he talks about that. And then, at the end, he becomes sober. And the next book, the next arc that we're working on right now for the thing is called Straight Edge, where he's going to become straight edge, which in the punk rock scene is a big thing.
Yeah.
Being straight edge, have the X's on. And when I grew up, that was a big thing. So we're going to delve into that a little bit deeper as we go. So I do have some connections with that. But that book was written, that is set in my hometown. So that's where I was born, Rochester, New Hampshire. That's a drug infested street that happens on Lafayette Street. So it's a very, very personal stuff. And you've seen me go a little wild sometimes. It's kind of the closest thing that's me as a character. I'm not as into punk rock as he is. There's some other stuff in there, but that's the closest thing. And like, I really wanted to do, when I did that book, I had something to prove. My grandmother died. Both my parents are dead. And, as we talk about it in that story, it's very about like being bitter and angry about your parents. In his case, they're witches. In my case, they're drug and alcoholic stuff. But I got some money from my grandmother and I invested it all in, hey, this is your one shot to do one comic the way you want, right? This money's extra. Let's do it the way you want, get the covers you want, whatever you want. And I chose Patrick specifically for it. And I wrote it to really have something to prove, like that I understand the story format.
Yeah.
Like that's where I stop in the story and go break the third wall and be like, hey, I know you're bored now. Like, I get it. Like, I'm with the audience. We're on the same page. Like, I get it. You just follow with me here. I'm taking you for a trip. And I liked that. And it was a lot of fun to be able to write that, to go, I'm taking you on an adventure. I know pacing. I know these things, and really get to show it through that one shot.
Yeah. And I think too, I have kind of pushed Destiny New York the same way, that I do what you do, and that I say, this is the book that's closest to my heart. And I'll mark it that way, but it's also the truth. But that is, I've been told by other creators, you have to talk to readers about what's in it for them, how to sell it to them. But I will say, the reason that I picked up this book was because of that from you. I talked to you on these live streams, and I really wanted to, kind of key into who you are as a person through your writing. And you kept talking about how this is the book that is closest to your heart. That this is the one that you're most passionate about. And I see a lot of ambition in the comics industry. I don't see much passion anymore. And that could be me, maybe I'm missing something, but that was kind of the key that made me want to read this book and delve into your work, because you were speaking about it in a way that made it seem integral to who you are.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think there is a lot of people who are artists in our industry, but I also think there's a lot of people. There's a low barrier to entry into comics as a Kickstarter. Like, it's just a fact. So anybody can get some art, pay for some art, and put things together, as long as you have someone who's smart. But not a lot of people go, I have something to say. Some people just like, I think I have a really good idea, I'm going to do it, but they don't want to say anything. Where I really have stuff I want to say. In all my books, I know you just backed my latest one, Voodoo Nations. Like, there's something I want to say in that. It's not as personal to me, but that's a story about my wife. Voodoo Nations is about two missionaries that go to Brazil that meet up with an evil voodoo priest and that voodoo priest kind of messes up their marriage and everything. Well, what that's about was my wife, when my mom died, I was gone. Like my brain was not here. I was doing crazy shit. We just talked about my mom being in alcohol. I brought my brother down from New Hampshire and we got drunk on Bourbon Street. How dishonoring is that to someone who I just told you's mom was in the program? Isn't that messed up?
You know, you can say yes, but also everyone needs their own way to cope, you know. But
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I just
but I shouldn't bring my brother into it.
yeah, you know, I hear that though, and I just empathize. You know, I can't judge it all. You know, I only judge Raven Gregory. But yeah, no, it was a very interesting aspect of the book, and it did seem personal. And also, I do like the sense of humor in the book. You know, you have this very you know, I'd say kind of like edgy, fourth wall breaking kind of casual tone, which I like a lot. So yeah, it's definitely, for all that you put into the book and all that you invested into it, I think that it paid off beautifully. It is a great book, and people should for sure check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Raven Gregory, you know, I've sent out the digital for Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, and I'm getting a lot of messages about you recently.
About me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Your name's in the book. Were you not aware of this?
No.
Well, let's address this. Let me show you the page. I'll
Oh
bring it
god,
up real quick.
okay. Let me make this bigger. Okay.
So a lot of people have been messaging me. If you want to bring that up real quick.
Oh yeah.
We had Raven Gregory do the forward because he did more Wonderland than you. And a lot of people
what a mistake. What a mistake having Raven write anything. Oh boy. Pat Shand looks pretty in a dress, Raven. All right, let's see.
So a lot of people want to know if you do look pretty in a dress. You know, a lot of people are like, "Who's Pat Shand?" This is this is again another rookie mistake of Raven. Instead of taking it to help his career, he just goes, because they're not going to read any of this stuff. They're just going to go to the end and go, "Who's Pat Shand?" Look you up, buy your books, and again, you're going to eclipse him. It's really sad that Raven just doesn't get the game.
Yeah, dude, it's like this. That's what happens when we co-write too. People, you know, they're used to his style, and then all of a sudden they'll pick up a Raven Gregory book that says co-written by Pat Shand, and they'll read it, and they'll be left with one question: Who's Pat Shand? Why is this one so different? Why is it so much better?
Right.
But yeah, dude, I how I want to dress. I have worn a dress, fucking you know, as I'm sure that most guys would relate to this. As a guy who has grown up dating women,
right?
Women like to paint your nails, put fucking makeup on you, take pictures, put you in a dress. You know, I've never had a qualm with it. If someone wants to dress me up, dude, I'm dressed out. I'm dressed out. I've had makeup on. I've had the fingernails. I've had it all. You have too. I mean, I'm sure you have.
One time. So I until like probably the last 10 years, I had an absolute fear of cross-dressers. For some reason, cross-dressers just flip me out. I don't know why. I've grown out of it in time, but as a young man until I became an adult, probably till about 21, 22, like cross-dressers were just like, stay the F away from me. And I think it's just that like we grew up with 80s movies, you know, right? So we're college of the day and all that. I think that like I didn't grow out of that. I needed to grow out of that.
Okay, understood.
But so one time I had a girl, her name was Brienne Mallet, and yes, she dressed me up as a girl, and there was some reward involved in it, probably sexual. So the one time, but they used it to, you know, of course, blackmail me and take pictures, which of course did not encourage me to do set activity again.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it. But the fear of cross-dressing is so funny to me. I just imagine you watching Miss Doubtfire and just getting scared.
Robin, no.
What was it that pushed you out of that fear, dude?
I think just being closer to the LGBTQ community, like having people who are going to that and like really going like, and trying to understand that, right? Like the people who are like, this just makes me feel like it brings a feeling in me that I can't get anywhere else. I'm not gay. I'm not anything. There's that. And then there's people who are like, I do this because I want to be that. Like, I want to be a female. Like, I identify as that and transition to that. And I have a couple of people who are in transition and stuff. And I'm even, you know, if people want to go through that, but I'm always about just make sure you're healthy mentally. You know, I don't care if any of that stuff. My biggest thing is like, if you feel that way, that's fine. But like a lot of it, just make sure you're okay mentally, because I've had a friend who did transition and didn't fix anything. And like that was more traumatic in trying to deal with it. So I think that's just being more accepting growing up, you know?
Yeah, I think that, you know, as I've seen it happen with my parents, with me, things change. Sometimes people change with society, sometimes not. Like, I remember my mother
Yeah.
watching True Blood with her. There was a lot of gay sex in True Blood.
Sure.
And she was never challenged by any shows that had gay content. Like she loved 6 Feet Under. You know, there was some, but it was more kissing. True Blood was more, you know, on the edge of like Skinamax type shit sometimes.
Right.
You know? So she would she would sometimes catch herself having a reaction where she go, ooh, ooh, you know, and she would afterwards talk about it. She'd say, wow, I'm realizing that I'm not used to seeing that and that I'm having a reaction. Whereas, you know, with the straight sex, not so much. And then she kind of like, I saw her in person address that within herself, you know. And conversely, my dad was, in his mind and in mine at the time, very conservative growing up. Probably now, because both sides have gotten more extreme, and my dad in time got less extreme. So I'd say he would probably qualify as centrist now. But I remember he died, I think 4 years ago, 4 years now. And about 6 years ago, he was sick, and he was telling me, you know, Patrick, I just want to tell you that I see the world changing, and I don't want you to think less of me because I haven't changed. And I was like, Dad, your best friends are a lesbian, and I mean, you hardly even know any white dudes, you know, like you don't even know how you've changed. You know, your friend came out to you as lesbian, you supported her without question. To think that you are like, he thought he was this like hyper conservative dude, and I'm just like, no, dude, you've changed so much integrally over such a slow period of time that you don't even know, really, you know. And yeah, that's, I mean, I feel myself changing too. Do you look back at old times, and do you yearn for them? Are you excited for, you know, the way that things are now? Like, obviously today, you know, today is fucking June 24th. So we're not gonna get into all this action, but there was a Supreme Court decision today. So I'm not talking about that. I'm more talking about, are you the kind of guy who has, you know, deep-seated nostalgia, or are you excited for the future, or what?
See, I spent most of my life looking back. You know, when I moved to New Hampshire, from New Hampshire to Florida, I really like idolized my relationships there. You know, I had a fiance there, and I left her to go to school because some crazy world. I was like, I have to make it to be what's right for her, right? And then I had a kid with somebody else, and like, I have to be this dad, and you know, if it was better when I didn't have a kid because I wanted to live this La Viva Wem life, you know, all this crazy bullshit. So I don't look back anymore. Like, I think that's one of the things that, you know, really when I met my wife, one of the things that we are building towards the future, you know, just in the comics and everything. Like, I am building everything for my retirement. I don't have a 401k. I don't have any of those plans. I'm doing it all with comics. You know, I'm hoping to own some properties that can make me a little residual, and that's what I'm gonna have to live off of in Social Security, like, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And I'm also an optimist. I don't think the world's falling apart, right? I don't think that the case is. I know that we are at war, and we can't see truth, right? We've got the liberals that can't see the truth on certain aspects, and we have people who aren't even watching the Capitol 6 investigation, like it doesn't exist. Like there's this crazy thing, but in the middle, I think most of us are okay. And what's going to happen, I believe, in 10, 20 years, our kids that we're raising up, like who are having these school shootings, it's not even a question whether or not we need to ban guns. Like some of these guns, like they've had to live through these drills and stuff. Like they want that change. They don't want to have other kids go through it. So I just look at this next generation being like, guys, please, like stuff. And I have a daughter who's 20, so I think that's part of it too. I see her growing up. I see the choices she's making.
Yeah.
That blows your way, huh?
Bro, how old are you?
I'm 42.
I would have said 34.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a daughter who's 20.
Yeah, you definitely took me off guard there, man. I was like, wait, you mean a sister? You know?
And just seeing the things that she does and like the way she lives her life and watching her grow. And I know I raised her right. And like the challenges she has to face today and what she wants to do, you know, and just their desire, right? I had no desire to learn another language to be able to communicate, but with like anime, people who love anime and stuff, they're like deep diving. I want to learn how to speak Japanese. I want to be able to understand the original context and all that stuff. It's amazing to me when I think about I had zero interest. I'm like, I was born in America. I read English, speak English, done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel very much the same.
Right.
I really don't have, I have internal ambitions. I don't have worldly ambitions. I've been to Canada, Mexico.
Sure.
And I'm good. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? Was it scary to have a kid at 22?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. I mean, so just to give you a breakdown, a quick breakdown of my life. Parents drug alcoholic till 12. I decided to go with the alcoholic part of the family because I was dumb and because I, just that instinct that kids have to take care of their parents in an alcoholic situation. Yeah. So I helped with my dad till I was like 18 or 19. When I didn't care about anything about in school, like literally when they were telling you, hey, you need to apply to colleges, even though I was doing well in school, I just didn't do it. I was just like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it. And I just never did. Because all I cared about was the drama and life of school. Like I just cared about people and like undergraduate people. Then I realized how to do something, flew to Florida to go to film school because I thought that was a good idea. Realized that Florida scams people and this film school that I went to isn't really a school. So I spent a whole bunch of money on that, had a kid, gave up on everything because I had started comics because I started comics in like 2005 to 2007. Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So I actually met Raven Gregory when he did The Gift and he came to MegaCon, one of his first ones.
Really?
Yeah. He doesn't like I was a kid and I was yeah. I met him at that.
So is he, dude. So is he. He must be, I think he's like 45.
Yeah, I think that. I think something like that. So I met him back when he came with The Gift.
Wow.
And I bought that in a book called Violent Messiah, which that guy's not relevant anymore. But
I mean, now there's Raven.
Right. Oh, do your jokes, Raven. Do your jokes. So I gave up. I thought when I had a kid, just because of my lifestyle, I don't want to have anything affect me being a parent. So I stopped dreaming. I stopped all of that and just did that. I worked at a comic store for a little bit. I got into web design, learned how to do web design, started a web design company, did that whole thing. And then when I left that mom, got another wife, bought her a pair of boobs. She had an affair on me, literally watched a video of it.
Wait, hold on, slow down.
All right, hold on.
All right. So, the wife that you left, you married.
So my baby mama, I was not married to her, but we were together for a long time.
All right. So her you leave and you invest in the breasts of a different woman.
Right. We get married.
Right.
Me and that woman get married.
Wait, hold on.
About 3 years. Invest in the breast of this woman.
Post marriage or pre marriage?
No, in the marriage.
Okay, so you locked it down and then made your investment.
Right.
Very good. Okay.
Right. I made the investment, and I didn't even want them. It wasn't even a thing. She was just like, I whatever. Here you go. Make you happy. She literally had an affair, videotaped it,
Did you
I
see
had
it?
to watch it on a video because knew she was cheating. It was probably and it messed me up, dude. I spiraled. I went crazy. I did a lot of bad things during that time. Like I drank a lot and
I can
found out that I was
imagine.
really good at dating sites. Like I could get girls on dating sites like crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, I'm a writer. I know what to write. I know how to best sell myself. And that story's great, right? Like in that story, I didn't do anything wrong. I bought her a pair of breasts. She cheated on me.
How long post op was the affair?
Oh, like immediate.
Oh wow, so those breasts weren't even for you.
No, I
Oh no.
maybe 4 times touched him. Like seriously, no exaggeration.
Wow.
Um,
How'd you get your hands on the video?
it was on a computer. I had a suspicion. I opened up the computer and saw the videos. Here's the worst part, though. Here, you don't even understand the worst part. It was with the friend we just went to their wedding, her best friend through our whole marriage, her husband,
Her best friend's husband.
her
So
best friend's husband.
did you tell the best friend?
No, no, no. Well, I didn't know until after. I just knew that she had a video. She didn't say who it was,
Okay.
and she talked about whatever, blah blah. I didn't know till after because that went into divorce really fast, and I was like, "What's happening?" And then they
Yeah.
sprung up, have a kid. He's a cop in a place here.
Wow, they're still together.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you find the video, what's the final name of the video?
Oh, what was the file name?
Yeah.
I don't
That
remember.
this is a crazy story.
Yeah, I don't remember the file name. I wish I did, but I broke that laptop. I broke the fuck out of that laptop.
So you see the video and then you crack the laptop.
Oh, cracked. Oh, absolutely. And leave that day. Like we are gone that day. She knows I'm mad. She brings her mom over. I leave for a minute to drop my daughter off, and I come back and I'm like, I'm getting my shit, and like relentlessly getting my shit. This washer machine is in my name. I'm getting. Why are you taking our washing machine? We can't wash. Nope, that's in my name.
Yeah, so
This
you got the
dog.
washing machine.
I paid for this dog. This is my dog. Here's my
Yeah.
stack of DVDs as I'm screaming throughout the house. You're a fucking whore. I saw the video. I saw the thing. Her mom's there. She's like, Travis, you're embarrassing me. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I was like, no, no, not anymore. And my friends like were nice. They were like, hey, he's not going to take anything that's not yours. You can watch from afar, but if you need to be in the house, shit's going to get bad. And it was.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, she kind of has no right to say that you shouldn't embarrass her. You know, she immortalized the moment.
Right. And I made it worse. Well, and let me back up a little bit too, just to give you an idea. She had told me she wanted to leave me about a year prior to this. And I canceled everything that I enjoyed. Comic books. I guess, never mind. That's a lie. I didn't cancel comics. I just cut down. I was doing LARP. You know what live action role playing is?
Of course I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I am like a mega star in that community. So just so you understand, I ran games for thousands of people in World of Darkness, like Werewolf. So I was a big deal. Like I would go to conventions. I would get flown out. So they would have my stories. Because I through all this, even though I gave up on my dream pet, I had to tell stories. Right. I had to tell stories. I just told them in a different way, whether it was at a D&D table or through these live action rings. So I would run live action events. People would come from miles to do these things. Canceled all that, gave up all those players, all those friends, didn't have anything just to devote to the marriage. And, it worked. It fixed everything for a little bit, but it really didn't, right? Because I wasn't that person. Like I was, she made me into something that she wanted, but she didn't want that thing that she molded me into, right?
Well, why did she want you to give that stuff up?
Because it was distracting from our marriage, because it takes a lot of time to do those things.
Oh, so she just wanted more attention from you.
Sure. Yeah. Because I was a kid. My marriage intention, like looking back on it, wasn't pure. I left the baby mama and I was just like, I need to give my daughter a mother. So I just found a mother who I thought was compatible and like melded. I didn't really think about it. Like, I don't even remember, like the cheating is probably the most I remember of the marriage. We went on vacations together. We did all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Like I've literally blacked it out because I'm just like, I wasn't happy.
Yeah. I mean, I've had relationships where I'll look back and sometimes it is the bad that sticks out the most when the bad's egregious. Like I remember you know, you mentioned cracking a laptop. I had a girl who I was writing, and for some reason the sound of my keyboard pounding gave her anxiety as she was getting ready for work. And she comes over, dude, and she slammed the laptop shut with my hands in there like a fucking a bully, you know, from a movie.
Right.
And yeah, I remember that more than the casual moments. So I
Right.
definitely, yeah, man. I even if there are good moments, they do get overshadowed when the bad is that bad.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
she did me wrong. It was really bad, and but yeah, so I went crazy. You know, I started drinking and doing all sorts of stuff, and you know, eventually settled down. But for like 3 years, I would have my daughter because I was a 50-50 custody, so I had my daughter for a week, then her
Yeah.
mom had her for a week. It was 50. It would go back and forth. So on weeks that I didn't have my daughter, I was like an alcoholic. I would be at bars every night of the week. In web design, you make a decent amount of money if you don't know. Like you know, an average website sells for about 2 grand. Probably sell about 3 a month. You make really good money, 6-7 grand, and you're a single guy living in an apartment with no, you know, no debt over your head, really.
That's pretty great.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a lot of money to waste, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. So it was crazy time. I
Yeah.
found the Lord, all sorts of. I got religious, and still religious. I'm actually a pastor, believe it or not.
And what denomination?
Non-denomination. Yeah, I'm accredited pastor, believe it or not.
So you could get someone married.
Yeah, and that's really what I use it for. I do a little bit of stuff, but I don't do a lot of it. Yes, I believe God's real and Jesus is real, all that stuff, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. You know, if
Yeah.
you know, if you really believe God's real, like, do you really need, like, if He's the creator of everything, like, do you really need to get involved? He's the creator of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You know, I believe too. You know,
Right,
I went through a long time where I feel like, you know, I grew up Catholic. I changed to Presbyterian when I was in my late teens. And
right,
then I found, and this is real, this is such like a kind of bitch ass motivation, but I found that when I got to college, all of the women that I wanted to talk to were all very vocally atheist, you know. So I
right.
so I really suppressed my spirituality for sure.
Sure,
And yeah, for a long time. And I always did believe, and I would have conversations, you know, eventually when opening up to people and stuff, but it really started to hit me how much I believe and how much I need to believe when
right,
I would drive to conventions, and I would sort of feel like, wow, you know, this is kind of fear of death type shit, but I would think so many people die in car accidents and so many people drive so much fucking less than me.
right,
You know, I'm driving so much. I'm driving all over the country. I've driven across the country. I'm driving for 10 hours today. So I would, you know, I would sort of feel like I was in God's hands.
right.
And I think that also too, like, you know, our industry isn't really an industry that welcomes a lot of different kinds of spirituality too.
Sure.
I feel. Yeah, man. So yeah, it's cool to hear you say that. So you were at that point you were kind of on a bender. Okay, so you purchased the memories, you find the video, you end it. You go on a bender, and then you find God. You said.
Yeah. I find God. You know, I bring my you know, I bring my daughter to New Hampshire, and that's, you know, where I had to, you know, find God. I had to. There was no way in the current conditions that I was.
Yeah.
Um, so I went to New Hampshire, went to church with my grandmother. You know, the typical thing. You go to
Yeah.
it's your grandmother. You go to church. And the day before Christmas, they were talking about the Book of Ruth, which is really weird because they should be talking about the coming of Jesus, but they're talking about
Yeah.
the Book of Ruth. And I just heard that story about this woman and this guy who are all both doing these crazy things that are against their religion to say that they love each other, right? To
Yeah.
do that, you know, and it really spoke to me. Like, that's what I need to find, someone who's willing to invest in me just as much as I am to them.
Yeah.
Um, and
That's smart.
and I think it's also, you know, I think the dating apps really showed me, like, there's a lot of really, really broken people who want to stay broken.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, they don't want to get better.
Yeah, as if it's some people I think the spiraling down gives them feeling and gives them this sense of being alive, and all
Right.
they can really have is that negativity.
They've been hurt, and they want the world to know that they've been hurt, but they don't want to get better from that hurt. They want to live in that hurt. And that hurt now defines who they are from everything. No different from someone who smokes pot and all they do is show like weed everywhere because this is now who I am, or no person who's an alcoholic who every time you see them they have a beer. It's the same thing, just a different brokenness.
Yeah, they make the trauma itself their personality.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think like seeing that, I think I needed something else because I kept seeing that over and over again. I was meeting with these people and they would tell me stuff. They're like, oh, I want to move in with you. I was like, no, I have a daughter every other week. I'm not going to do that because I was clean, sober, no beer in the house, anything on the weeks that I had my daughter. And I think that that's literally the only thing that saved me from becoming an alcoholic is every other week I was sober.
All right. So yeah, you were kind of going on and off. Yeah.
Right. Every other week I would go on and off. So I would straighten up for a week and then not straighten up. And I think that saved me, like literally just you have to stop. Because if I would have kept going, I would have just spiraled. Right. I just didn't.
Yeah. It definitely showed some level of restraint for sure. My question is, when you were using these dating apps, were those the non-sober weeks?
Well, I would probably use them on the others, but I wouldn't plan the dates. I would probably chat and stuff. Yeah.
Did you did you fuck on the first date?
Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the dating apps. It's okay blowjobs. Plenty of blowjobs. And Christian Mingle's where you find gay guys.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
I used to wear a shirt that said I met my boyfriend on ChristianMingle.com. And that's when it became Christian because I found it hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. People have this really kind of outdated idea of what a Christian is. I think that Christians can be funny as fuck, So you find God, and how soon after that did you get back into writing comics?
So it was a long time actually. So I, find God, I got heavy into the church, got involved, figured out what that is, really trying to figure out my own business, like really defining what I wanted in a relationship, like really trying to figure that out. I went through, because early on in my life, I would always just say yes. Like I'd be in a relationship and then the girl would cheat on me and I'd like beg for forgiveness. Even like the part of my affair, when she cheated on me, I actually begged for her to get me back. Even though I left, like a week later, I'm begging for you to get back because I'm messed up. It's that drug and alcohol, just, want that connection. So learning there's a couple of girls I dated who there was zero wrong with them. And I was just like, you're just not someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. And that was a tough thing to accept, right? There is zero wrong with you. I just don't vibe with you. Like thinking of, right? I don't want that.
That's important. That's important. Right? That connection. Yeah.
So I think growing up through that, and then I met my wife. It's funny because I had stopped dating. I got on the apps. My wife found me through the apps, but didn't use the apps. I had changed my profile on the app to be real. Okay. No written, hyper ventilated, cool guy, Travis.
Okay.
So here's my profile prior. My profile prior was own my own business, single father. I chatted a little bit about what happened to me, like about the wife, because I got sympathy from people. Okay. Like, here's why I'm single. It's not, I'm not fucked up. I didn't do drugs. I didn't do anything. I did this, and I'm a Christian. Like blah blah blah. Here's all the good things, and it just worked. It was like I was good at taking pictures. I had lost a lot of weight. I wasn't wearing with that because I would work out a lot too. Then I changed my profile to hardcore geek. I want to hang out. I want to read comic books. I want to watch every Marvel movie. Let's just hang out. Like that's what I changed it to. Zero, dried up. Nobody was replying to me except for people who were married on, except for my wife. My wife found me on it. She had been separated from somebody, and he had just joined on the dating apps, and she won't admit it, but I think she still had a little thing for him at the time. And so she searched for him and found me. And so she messaged me. She didn't refuse to use the app. She found me on Facebook and messaged me, and we dated. And I knew she was perfect because I'd been, going back to religious. I was praying for. I was praying for a redheaded girl with tattoos. It was a cool
that's
chick, and
that's
my wife
specific.
comes up. She has Batman sleeves, and she's perfect. And
Yeah.
we had and then she was the one. We were sitting at I had a broke down in 4 Dead Bodies. I had a file, and I was just showing her. Oh yeah, look at this comic I did. And she was just like, "You're fucking retarded." I'm like, "What?" Yeah, you have 2 issues of a completed comic book that
Yeah.
you've never published. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucking dumb. And then I did it, and I figured out what Kickstarter was, figured out how to do it, and then I loved it, and this is what I'm gonna do.
And around what year was that?
That was only 5 years ago. We're going on our 5th year, like 5 6 years. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm intrigued by your prayer though. So you're getting real specific with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Can,
Oh yeah. Real specific.
can you give me an example? Like, can you say the prayer as if you were praying now?
Could I say the prayer?
The one where you were asking for her.
Yeah. I don't think I could say the prayer, but I could tell you like my list because it was more than that.
Yeah.
It was a tattooed redhead. I said I needed to someone who really loves my daughter because my ex-wife didn't love my daughter. She was just like a person living. I was like someone who really wants to live, one who's all in on me, who really stuff and can allow me to grow and wants to grow with me because that was again that Book of Ruth thing. And Book of Ruth is what saved my wife. That's how she was saved. She learned about the Book of Ruth from some lady, and she named her daughter Naomi, which is in the Book of Ruth. Like it was really, really deep connection. And I prayed specifically for it, and I asked for it, and I prayed for it, and I wouldn't settle. Like I had other options. I wouldn't settle. But prior to my wife, I was dating a dancer, like a dancer who could dance in all sort of different ways, and like very attractive and all that. And I again, same thing. I was just like, wow, you're awesome. You're great eye candy. People love hanging around, but you're not who I want to spend the rest of my life with. like that stuff. And so I prayed for her, and we did that, and it's been cool.
Do you feel that it was God who brought her to you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've had, I'm religious, I don't want to go into it, but I've had several encounters that like I cannot deny that God was involved. Like I've had enough encounters that I was like, I am being ignorant if not. And I'm not as good of a Christian as I used to be. I stopped going to church for various reasons, and I have pastors and people I talk to. In fact, I just got a phone with them, but I still am a believer. But I'm a liberal. Like so that's hard for me, right? I'm liberal, hardcore liberal. Like for me when I read the Bible, I don't go, oh, again, we're not going to go in Roe versus Wade, but I don't go, we can't murder babies. I read, he said feed the poor. Like, all right, so let's take care of the poor. So for me, that's my standpoint. Like, we have to feed the poor. He said, feed them. Like, so that's my argument. And their argument is, well, thou shalt not kill. Though that's a commandment in the Old Testament. You don't like to follow any of the other ones. Well, why are you stuck on that one?
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, I'm with you. There's definitely, there's a lot of talk about how the Bible is used for negative stuff, but it isn't. It's a very nuanced book, and anyone who wants to make a point or to push an agenda can pull any idea from the book. There's everything in there. So yeah, I appreciate that you could have a more liberal take on the Bible for sure. I think that's all in there for sure. And
I think, and that's not on purpose, right? If this is the God of everything,
I think so.
It's got to be written to everyone, and it's got to be able to speak to everyone. And though we may disagree on the interpretive, in theory, we should be seekers of truth. And I think that that's where it's gone wrong in society is we don't want to seek the truth, and we can't just accept, and we don't want to see, we want God to be our consciousness, not what it needs to be. Right. It's really easy for me to say that killing someone is wrong, but it's really hard for me to say that killing someone and lying to someone is the same thing. But according to the Bible, it's the exact same sin. There's no difference between the two.
Yeah, I feel a huge difference. Yeah.
Right. Because you should. Because we're people.
Yeah.
But for me, I try to go on that. So, all right, I'm supposed to be here, so I can't, I'm not going to pretend I figured it fucking out, because if I can't relate to that, like.
Yeah. I mean, I also think too, like, if to kind of expound on the God of it all.
Sure.
If if we change, if society changes, society is just a collection of us.
Right.
What is us except, according to the book, it says that we are a reflection of God. If God didn't change over time, then why are we?
Right.
I think that the idea that everything in the Bible has to be, set in stone, I think that's a very old school idea. And yeah,
Right.
I think that liberalism and Christianity don't have to be at odds. I think that there's a definite interesting mix there. Um, but what I wanted to ask too is you say that your wife, uh, she was this driving force behind making you take your art and turn it into a business.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had someone support me. Except for in school, like it's easy. Oh, I like what you're doing, but like someone who's like really like, what money do we need as a family to make this happen? Like she's that all in. She edits my book, and I have her edit my book not only because she's really good at English and she has a degree. She edited for people who've made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with how old are you?
I'm 35.
All right. Did you watch Unsolved Mysteries as a kid?
You know what? My wife watches it all the time now.
Right. So there's a
Yeah.
psychic on there for back in the day called Sylvia Brown.
Okay.
She married her son, and she would edit her books.
Wait,
And,
hold on. Wait. Oh, I thought you said that Sylvia Brown married her own son.
no. My
I
wife
was like,
married.
bro, what? This story's getting crazier. So your wife was married to Sylvia Brown's son.
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
So
okay.
they did all the book tours, all the spiritual tours, all the psychic tours, all that crazy stuff. She's lived, she's seen everything. They were millionaires, everyone in the family, because Sylvia Brown's a big deal. She's trying to describe who she'd be now. We don't really have we don't really go to psychics anymore. Like that's kind of a
No, yeah.
90s thing. But she was big. She wrote New Age books. So think of whatever New Age author, or self-help book. She was one of those. She would construct book tours and all that. And she would predict end times, and like but what she would do on Unsolved Mystery, she would come on and be like, your baby's been missing. They would ask her like, where's the baby that's been missing since 5? And Sylvia Brown would be like, oh, the baby's dead, or oh, the baby's still out there. Like that she was that psychic. Anyways.
Hold on, wait. This is crazy. So would she be right? Would the baby be found?
Sometimes I think a lot of times she was right. That's why she got so many books and stuff like that. I think she got a couple of them right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't, I wouldn't want to put you, since obviously your wife was married to this guy and isn't anymore. There must be. I wouldn't want to ask her thought, but I'll ask. I still not get her in trouble, but I'll ask you. Do you believe in that kind of stuff?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. You can't believe in the Christian. I can't say that I've had God encounters and say that nothing else exists. Right?
Gotcha. It's scary to me, but yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
You literally can't. And especially by accepting that, I have to accept that there is demon possessions. There is some of these stuff. I have never experienced enough to be able to do it. There's a guy who's a client of mine who's a psychic lawyer. Fantastic. He's a psychic lawyer.
Yeah.
His name's Mark Anthony, if anybody wants to look him up. Not the
Mark
singer.
Anthony, the psychic lawyer?
Psychic lawyer. But every time when I met him, I didn't have any dead relatives, so I can't question whether or not he can speak to the dead.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Damn, that kind of stuff does kind of get me. The unknown scares me.
Sure.
The idea of death in general, the idea of eternity after death. I find all that kind of amorphous unknown very scary.
Yeah, no, I think that stuff's crazy, but it has to be, and I think it's because I've gone to mission trips, when I was Christian, I did some mission trips, and seeing these people, these people have legitimate fears for these things, like voodoo and voodoo and like spirits possessing. Like, I think that they have a better understanding than we do. We're in a civilized world, like, and our sins are private. We hide them, right? We hide that stuff. It's harder to hide it in a village, right?
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
whether or not it's out there is whatever. I'm not sure if ghost or any of that stuff really exists, but I have to give an open mind because I can't. If I could tell you there's a God who died on a cross, and because of that I get to go to heaven, and prior to that I couldn't. Like I cannot go. I'm sorry, you didn't see your grandma's ghost. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
don't. It and it literally tells me be aware of witchcraft. So if I can't be scared of something, it has to exist. I'm supposed to be afraid of it and avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely. Yeah. I, if I were to press, I probably think that it's real too. It does scare me. Um, and yeah, I wonder how prevalent the stuff it is. But your writing does kind of get into the depths of all the unknown. You
Right.
have right now you had just mentioned voodoo, and right now you have Voodoo Nations is issues 1 through 3 on Kickstarter. Now I'm gonna try to do what you just taught me to do, and I'm gonna share screen. I'm gonna go Chrome tab, and boom. Are we here? Are we doing it?
Yeah.
Boom, dude. There we go. This is Voodoo Nations 1 through 3. Oh, dude, you're about to fund.
Yeah. We just launched yesterday. We're about to fund today.
Very sick. Best first 75 backers get a coaster. Very cool. The logo is sick. Who did your logo?
Jerome, the guy who does all my stuff. Yep.
It is sick. Very, very cool. If you were to give a short pitch for this, what would it be?
2 missionaries that go to Brazil. They meet up with this evil voodoo priest. It causes the death of the husband, as you see right there. That guy gets resurrected by the voodoo priest, and it finds out he didn't resurrect quite right. And this woman's trying to save her husband's soul. He's not quite right, and she travels to all these places. And he finds out voodoo's following her. So in the second issue, they go to New Orleans. The third issue, they go to Mexico for the Day of the Dead. Lots of really, really cool stuff in there.
This is sick. This is sick. He does, he has the soul pack, so he kind of deserved it,
Right. Well, and like we talk about, how we got into the whole history of me is, the story is really based about my wife. My mom died. I was different, and like I couldn't connect to whom I was anymore.
Yeah.
And just watching my wife stick with me, trying to figure out who I was. So this is a fictionalized story of that, of just pursuing me, even though she shouldn't have pursued me because I was doing crazy shit. Because like when you faced with death, like you act weird for a little bit if it's someone really close to you. I mean, everyone's different, but
true. I think even, especially someone close to you, but just the idea of death in general can definitely, it's intense, just
right.
Our own mortality is something that, I think about this all the time. But back when Amy and I used to do a podcast all the time, a guest that I would often ask our guests, a question was, what do you think happens after death? And it's a thing I always think about, and
Right.
I think I already know what you think happens though.
Here's the thing. You may, and you're probably right, because I do believe there's heaven, but I don't care.
What do you mean?
I don't care. It's not a concern to me. My concern right now is just to live whatever best life and bring that stuff here, because I think you only get one shot on this planet regardless of that. So why waste your time worrying about that when you need to focus on like doing your stuff? Oh, we just got a big backer, huh?
Hey, boom, there you go.
So, and you have a cool announcement this week too.
As of the Barbed or Cheeky?
Yeah.
As of the Barbed is coming through Scout. I'll put the link for the announcement.
Can we bring it up? Can we bring up these amazing pages?
Can we? That's a good question. AZZA. I was just praying that I didn't search ass spelled AZZ.
Right. You just bring a whole bunch of ass.
Yeah. Here we go. As of the Barbed is an epic fantasy tale of forgiveness and redemption coming soon from Scout Comics. This is by me and Rio Burton. Do you know Rio?
I don't. Tell me who Rio is.
Rio is awesome. She does great art. I think that you guys will get along.
I mean, this art is fantastic. This book.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's I'll show later on.
Yeah, I've seen some pages. Maybe go to their Facebook. I think when they announced it.
FACE book.
No, right on the left. Say stay in touch. All right, whatever. Dragon Ball
Super. What am I searching? Scout Comics. OUT. Yeah, I'm kind of new to the StreamYard thing, dude.
All right. X out of my. They don't need to see our messages. They'll see those nudes that I sent you. No one will
Oh
see
yeah, yeah, definitely gotta hide those dick pics, dude.
that. Right.
Those DPZs. All right, where are we, dude?
And that's because you're Catholic. I need to show you those because that's important in the Catholic religion for an understand.
It's true. I used to be, dude. Back when I was Catholic, right?
Right.
The thing was that I wanted to I knew I wanted to become Presbyterian. So
Right.
I told my mom, and she said, just do me one favor. Talk to the priest before you do it. And I said, okay. So I talked to the priest and I told him my plan. And he said, I just have one thing to say. And I said, what? He said, just so you know, the Catholics, we consider the Eucharist to be the literal body of Christ. And the other Christians don't. And we as Catholics believe that you need to consume the body of Christ to get into heaven. So I said, so are you saying that when I stop going to you and start going there, that I'm going to go to hell, dude? And he said, I didn't say that. Well, yes, you did mention.
I at my mom's funeral, because I was Christian, I was pretty hell in it, and they wouldn't let me eat communion. I was so mad. And I'm debating with this guy at my mom's computer. I was like, wait a minute. The Lord's Supper literally no.
No, dude, that's a rough part of Catholicism.
Right.
The same thing. A friend of mine is Catholic, and he was married 2 weeks ago. And
Right.
a big point of contention was that his family wanted him to have a mass with communion, and he said no. My wife's family, even though she converted, they're Christian. They are not Catholic. So if we
Right.
do this service, they cannot receive communion, and that's going to be an insult to them. So he stood his ground. All right, so here's the covers.
Yeah, look at that chocobo.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yep.
Pretty cool. So yeah, that's coming soon. And if people want to and should go to your Kickstarter as well, that's going to be, we showed it here. The link will be in the comments.
Yep.
Pretty fun year so far for us. You did Cthulhu earlier this year, right?
Right.
And Granite State Punk was what, late last year?
No, it was the beginning of this year as well.
Damn. Yeah, dude. I want to do more this year too. The international printing of trades is really slowing me down, so I'm working on a solution there.
Well, and that's the thing, is I can do single issues and then a couple of trades, so it's a little easier for me. I actually plan on hopefully in August do the next Granite State. Like we're going to push that forward. Because Kickstarter has some new rule. Did you see the new rules for Kickstarter?
No, what is it?
So because you and me are considered seasoned, meaning we fulfilled 4 Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah.
We can have 6 unfulfilled campaigns going at a time.
Interesting. Yeah, I in the past I've done 5. So them putting into Word 6 is kind of helpful. Maybe I'll start doing 6. I just I never want to make backers feel as if they're being ignored for a different project, but they just don't know the boy does so much,
Well, and I think the other thing is, if you explain, hey, the difference, I'm not going to blast anybody right now, but the people who get in trouble for this stuff,
yeah,
don't even send out the digital. Like, it's not finished.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas I've sent out the digital. I'm just waiting for the books, man. Like, I think that's a different statement than you need to make me finish 6 books, right? That's not what you're saying. You're saying, I have books for you. I've given you your digital part. You just got to wait for the book part. I think that's a different thing. And that's going to be my policy too. You're going to have all your digitals out before I launch a new thing.
Yes, 100%. Since I'm doing 5 at a time, what I'll do is basically I'll always make sure that of the 5 that haven't been sent, there's one that is either funding or one that is in production, and multiple that are off to print. I always want to be in the mode where I'm waiting to receive. So when I do receive, I launch. I received Thirsty about a week and a half ago now, and it was by far my biggest order so far, and I'm shipping it faster than ever because I really, I really want to keep doing this. I would love to have like 8, 9 campaigns per year, but it's just that the speed of printing is really it's rough. But it is helpful to know that Kickstarter is putting into word that it's 6.
And it's only for comics of the 6.
Yeah.
Everybody else is way lower. I think it's specifically for comics.
That's good. Yeah, that's definitely a good move. I think it shows to, what I like about Kickstarter, and there are all these new platforms showing up, and I think that, competition is it's a healthy atmosphere if there can be another site that's good. It's just that I think that Kickstarter does so well and creates such a good support system for creators that it's going to be hard for a different site to be able to offer the same. But yeah, they just do very well at it. They're asking the right questions too. They'll send creators, maybe backers don't see this too, but they'll send creators these surveys asking ways that Kickstarter can improve.
Right.
And how BackerKit is now becoming its own crowdfunding platform. A lot of the questions on a recent Kickstarter survey to creators, it was very BackerKit focused. I found they were asking, do you use BackerKit? What do you use it for? How can Kickstarter make you not want to use BackerKit?
Right.
Yeah. So it seemed as if they're seeing, they know that if people are utilizing BackerKit, that there might be something missing in the core platform.
Well, and I think Kickstarter, as it's growing and as it's been a thing, I think it's really learning that what makes it special, right? I've gotten debates with Indiegogo creators, and we win every time because I'm like, we don't extend it to another 60. Our numbers are always what they're supposed to be. Like, we don't have in demand, we have those stuff. So when you back or supported a Kickstarter creator, that wasn't there for a year to raise all that money because nothing's hitting. I think if a company's whole process is hiding stuff, here we have the secret pledges, like everything's hidden behind these walls. Where Kickstarter, everything's up front. I think that means something, and I think that's what's held Kickstarter up and hold it in an integral part of the conversation. Is everything's above board. They always show you what they're doing. Even when they did the blockchain, people got mad. They said, "Hey, we're not doing it right now, but we want to tell you that this is our intention." Like, you can get mad about it all you want, but they told you, "Hey, this is our plan."
Yeah, I think too. A lot of the comics community didn't think so, but I think that their answer was good. I was satisfied by their answer, and also, maybe I think it was good because I don't really care. The blockchain thing doesn't really faze me at all. Everyone that I've talked to who wasn't either so incensed or talking out of their ass said the reason that they're doing this is because everyone's doing this. It's going to be the way. So my response to that is, I'm not an expert. If this is what everyone is doing and Kickstarter is doing it, I have no reason to be upset. None.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. All right. Everyone can go on Voodoo Nation number 1 through 3. You said, right?
Yep.
And how many issues will it go? Do you think?
Just one more.
So 4 will be the finale, and you'll do a trade.
Ending this year, beginning of next year, we'll get that issue out, and it'll be done.
Nice. And how many issues on Granite State?
Granite State is unknown because I'm doing it as one shots.
Okay, so you could just keep going.
Yeah, but I do plan on because it did so well. I have a contract. I can't tell you who, but there is a contract that we've finished negotiations. They just haven't sent me the final sign, but there's a contract for it. So it'll be with a publisher. So we're making more issues for that. So I'll build to a trade. So at least probably, so I think I did 24 on that. So probably 5 issues total at least. No, well, I'll at least make you to a trade.
That's beautiful. So yeah, man. Thank you for doing this. Is there anything else that you want to say? Share?
No. We need to do it again because I had so many questions for you. I wanted to talk about Zenoscope. How do I get into all these publishing deals? How do I pitch?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
But we decided to do a Travis Gibb history lesson instead.
Yeah, I mean, you're as soon as you told me the story about the implants and the video, I knew we had to stick on this route. It's crazy. Crazy. But yeah, we'll talk too. You're doing your live streams while this is going on. I'm gonna have Cheeky launching in 4 days now, dude. So I'll pop onto yours too. But yeah, stay on for a second though, because I want to ask you a question. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe below. I do the Pat Shan podcast whenever I want. Returning soon. I can't say when, but we'll have the Space Between podcast with me and Amy soon, as well as I can't believe we're doing it, but Raven Gregory and I will be doing a duo podcast that'll be happening every week. That'll be happening soon. I have to accept this, and so stay tuned for that and hit subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching.